Hey guys, thanks for joining us for our little mini-sode of Politically Incorrect Knitters. We have Neil here, and if you guys aren't on Instagram, you probably missed a whole bunch of what happened, but we Neil put out his new magazine, Black Magazine, this week, and it made some people lose their minds. And so we wanted to talk to him about it. So, oh yes, and I have Ann Pinkava as always because she's my fabulous best friend co-host person. And we have Neil. So thanks for joining us.
Hooray. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. So tell us, let's pretend the people watching don't know about the magazine. So give us a quick rundown and then tell us what happened.
Sorry, just say that bit again. You just went off for a second.
Sorry.
Tell people about the magazine in general.
Yeah. Let's pretend they don't know what it is in case they don't, and then right.
Right. Yeah. If you've been living under a rock, actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll read out the script. Hi. In the last few days, an online publication, a white supremacist publication, targeting black, brown, and non-white makers in the fiber community has come out. I have not looked at it, but I already know what's in it. And the contents are abhorrent and disgusting. I know this because I heard the content directly from the mouths of the black and brown makers and their allies. I would highly recommend that you don't go look for it. Don't read the words that these black makers actually said. Don't give it the attention the creators are trying to get from it. Please do not tag, do not send DMs, do not send screenshots to any of the makers who are being targeted in this publication. It's likely they're already aware of what's there. It is their own words after all. And seeing their own words will just cause them more harm and more pain. The makers who are being targeted are aware that this publication has come out. So please, no DMs, no screenshots, no tagging. Thank you. So, that was pretty much what was going around, wasn't it, last week?
Oh my gosh.
So before the magazine was launched, that was the thing that they were all reading from, more or less. And so it was clear that they were quite scared about something. They didn't know what was going to be in it, although they knew it was going to be abhorrent and disgusting. But basically, what the magazine is a knitting magazine. The bottom line of it is knitting and crochet. However, what will be in the magazine and is in the magazine is a strong spotlight on anybody that has used their influence to bully people. And that is what is causing all of the drama. It's the fact that we are exposing people. And the black, brown, melanated nonsense, it has nothing to do with that. It's purely about whether they've been a bully or not. And it just so happens that in this case, the person was a black person. And that's the only link to race that there is, in my, view. And I did do it, so I should know.
Well, and the poor supermarket sisters, as you call them, it's like you know who your friends are now because no one's sticking up for you. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's been really interesting. Nobody has said anything about them, have they? Yeah, I think if anything, I think people, even on their side of this argument, I kind of found that one quite funny, I think. Yeah, nobody stuck up for them. You're right. Yeah, you're on your own, sisters. Sorry.
No. But
yeah.
Sorry.
Go on, Ann.
No, I was just going to say that it is very interesting that whatever you do not look at it, do not think about it, and also it's so traumatic. Okay, so people send stuff to us like, hey, did you see that somebody said something about you? I'm like, oh, good, because I might have missed it. And maybe that's like a little, navel gazing of me, like, oh, everyone that they're going through saying block everybody. And so I don't know what people are saying. Therefore, people send it to me like, okay, that's good. but it's so traumatic to hear people say this or that, or to have a screen cap sent to you, or somebody who just wants to tell you, what is said on the internet. Like, that's the worst. That's the most, don't dare even speak to people to inform them what's going on in other corners of the internet. That's, they are too high for you.
Right. But
yeah, it's so silly. I mean, my view on it is I like to see what people have said. Oh, sorry, Deplorable.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was just going to say, it's kind of funny that they're so angry about you repeating what they have already said. They've made it about race. Yeah. They've made it about you don't like black people because you have repeated what they've said. If you're proud of what you've said, then what's the problem? If you think you are correct and that it's what you should say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why the most afraid is because they know, because they've read it. You know, the thing is, I know they've read it, and they know what's in it. And the interesting thing is when we come to talk about some of the when we come to talk about some of the other things later, is how they've tried to twist everything that I've done in the magazine to be about race. And it's interesting because I'd predicted a lot of it before it happened, and there's certain things that I did deliberately because I knew what they were going to do later. But going back to their own words, you know, I don't mind people telling me what people are saying about me because I know that, you know, 99% of it is a lie, whereas they don't want to see it because they know it's true. And that's why they're afraid, because they don't want their followers to actually see what they've said.
Yeah.
You know, because the thing is, if anybody reads the article that I wrote about Adela, I don't think anybody could say that it wasn't mostly her own words. You know, it's her own words just linked together by a few little, you know, adjectives. That's it. You know, there's nothing much to it other than that. So what they're afraid of is themselves, you know, ultimately, which is quite funny. But yeah, so the thing, so I released it on Friday, and this I did not know, and I honestly, nobody's going to believe it, but I did not know it was Adela's birthday on Friday. So I honestly didn't know.
Me up. Like that was, it's like on one hand, you know, if somebody had like, and these are all the horrible things Anne said and posted it in an article, I'd probably be pretty bummed about that. Not that I've said much, but I'm sure you can find something. You can find something about anybody.
Taking that in context,
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, that would probably be a bummer on my birthday, but that is hilarious, though. That is so... Sorry, I shouldn't be.
The original plan was to release it on the 31st, but it was ready. It was all done, and everybody had proofed it, and I just thought, oh, there's no point waiting. Let's just get it out there, you know, get it and see what happens. And it was just complete coincidence. And I know people won't believe that, but honestly, it was. And I think if I'd known it was a birthday, I probably still would have released it. Honestly, I probably still would have. But I don't know. It wasn't intentional, but it is quite funny, although maybe not. I don't know. But so anyway, I released it on Friday, and I got all the feedback, bar one or two, has been absolutely amazing so far. I was really shocked because I thought people would pick apart how I wrote, or they wouldn't like the pictures or whatever. And almost everybody has been raving about it, saying it was great. I've had a couple of criticisms, which I'll talk about in a bit if you like. And some of them are valid, but some of them aren't. Some of them were just malicious, you know, name calling, which fair enough, you know, free speech. So then on Saturday, everything was fine. And then on Sunday, suddenly, midday, I think it was, in America, so it would have been in the evening here, it just suddenly stopped working. People couldn't actually get access. So at first, I was thinking, right, well, it's got to be a technical issue because the company that I've been hosting the magazine on, they're in Austria. And what I've realized is they don't work at the weekend and they don't work in the evening. So if anything happens when they're not working, there's nothing you can do until the next working day. So I was thinking, right, well, if it was complaints, they can't have made complaints because who are they going to complain to? You know, I can't get hold of them for support for anything. So who is going to be able to? So I was kind of thinking, oh, well, it's okay. It must be technical. But then some internet sleuth sent me the screenshots of the lady that was running the campaign to get everybody to complain to Yumpu, which is the name of the company that I was hosting with.
And first off, how dare they talk to you about yourself? Sorry.
Yes, how dare, yes. And what I think had happened is that I think they must have an automated system that if you complain, that they just immediately take your magazine or your publication down until a human can come along and actually see whether it's real or not. So it was taken down automatically. So at first I thought, oh, here we go. But then I thought, no, I've got 1,000,001 ways of getting this magazine published, so it wasn't a problem. So it was a tricky weekend though, because I had visitors here, so I couldn't just sit at the desk and get on with it. So I had to wait until they'd gone. But the moment they went, I set it up so you could download it as a PDF, and I've also set it up again as a different magazine form on a different platform. The problem I've had is that I can't get hold of the help desk for the original company. But that doesn't matter at the moment. They will eventually come round to answer it because it is still out there, and I'll just keep replacing it every time they take it down. You know, it doesn't take long because the work is done. The file is ready to just click and upload anywhere. So when because I've got a Patreon account and I've had some really good support on there. I was very surprised at that as well. And this month I should have enough money to be able to purchase the full package that goes with the magazine software, which should give me a little bit more protection from people, you know, complaining about it and getting it taken off. So a message to the people that have been complaining: keep complaining, because all it does is it makes people want to read it more. Because if they've missed out and not managed to download it, the amount of people saying, how can I get it? How can I get it? You know, messaging me. So they may not have bothered reading it before, you know. So thank you very much. It's a really good advert, you know. And all of these, and please keep doing these videos, you know, these do not read videos, because they're awesome. They are, I've shown them to everybody, all my friends, and we've laughed so much about it. Because, like, all of us have just been saying, you know, do they not know the first thing about human psychology? You know, if you say to someone, don't look over there, the first thing you do is look over there. You know, you don't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't think about cars with 4 wheels and 5 whatever. You know, immediately you think about it, whatever it is. You know, the other thing I've had almost, so just from Friday to Sunday, we had just under 12,000 readers, which I was amazed at, because I thought we'd get about 2,000 readers. I didn't think I'd get that many. But what I don't know is whether they're unique readers or whether it's people coming back. So I don't know whether it's every time somebody opens the file, whether that's classed as a new reader or whether it's unique ones. Well, what makes me laugh is I wonder how many thousand of those were from the people trying to get it offline, you know, people, because they would have had to have opened it to report it. So, you know, for all I know, it might be 10,000 of them to complain and 2,000 of us to actually read it. But either way, it's a read count, which is good, you know.
Right. Right. Any publicity is good publicity. You know, if they got your name in their mouth, it's a good thing for you. But so you
exactly,
you
and also I love the fact that they're saying, "Have you blocked?" You know, it's like every time they block somebody, it's like, have you blocked Ann Pinkover? You know, they're mentioning the magazine's name every time they block someone. And I just think, yeah, that must hurt somewhere deep down, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. I talked over you.
No, that's okay. Sorry. That's okay. So you released it on Adela's birthday, which was an accident. But I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, he's releasing this racist magazine right before Black History Month. So can you explain to us the timing of why it's released when it was? Is it just because you?
I think that is. I mean, does that mean, the thing is, it means anything that is ever released or published or launched at the end of January clearly has to be related to Black History Month in February. You know,
Obviously.
nothing, no matter what it is, it all has to relate to that. You know, the reason it was the end of January was simply timing. I would have loved it to have been the 1st of January, but I didn't even start on this road until after we spoke last time, which was that December? I can't even remember now.
It was,
I started from nothing, you know.
Yeah, it was like the second week of December, so you got it all up together in like 6 weeks. So
yeah, and then obviously we had Christmas in between as well. So my way, I would rather it was the 1st of every month because it makes more sense. But the way it's running, it's just going to have to be the last of every month. And unfortunately, Black History Month decided they were going to put their month to coincide with the release of Blocked. You know, because that has to be the only explanation, doesn't it? What else could it be? How selfish. Oh.
That's terrible. So, okay, so you obviously weren't going against Black History Month. You don't really care.
Well, they do this in
I didn't
June.
even think about Black History Month. It was, and why does, you know, why would anything have to stop for Black History Month anyway? You know, it's sort of, it is what it is. It's does that mean you can't talk about anything else during that month? You know,
Maybe, I'm not sure.
I might do something for Black History Month in the next issue.
Okay.
Might do. I don't know yet.
There were some people that were saying that you were going to come after families of the people you were talking about.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah,
so do you know or?
Yeah, I think that okay. Well, there's two things been going on. I've been accused of something that I didn't do. What happened a while back, Adela had a photo shoot with her daughter where she was dressed as a princess or something. I can't really remember. And they were all over Adela's feed. And somebody, I don't even think it was anybody connected to knitting, somebody took that picture of a daughter and used it for some purpose that I don't even know about, because it was all done and dusted while I was asleep one night and I woke up to see it all in the morning. And that was what prompted her to send that message about sending her 45,000 army to sort people out, you know, with the needles. And it was something to do with somebody using her picture. Now, then she sent a message saying, stand down, whoever it is had taken the picture down. So Adela knows exactly who it is that took that picture. But people have made this just assumption that it was me that was using the picture. And it's been linked to another incident where Adela was doing a fundraiser for her daughter's teacher, which I wrote an article about, which we didn't publish in the end, but I know you guys have read this, so I know you know the story that I'm talking about. And I'd done a bit of research into this because there was some very unusual things, shall we say, about this fundraiser. And she had a picture of her daughter in the advert for the fundraiser. So I'd shared it, but I had made sure I completely blurred out any bit of the child. You know, if you saw what I posted, it's still there, it's never been taken down. You will see that nothing of the child is visible at all. It just looks like a blur with words over the top, which is what I intended it to be. Because the thing is, I would never use somebody's family against them. You know, it was not something I would ever even consider. But that has now been attached to me because of the other story that they are linking to me. But and then the other thing, which even a couple of people who enjoyed the magazine, one of the criticisms was the picture I did of the Lola Mean yarn and the label with the little girl. And there's a very specific reason why I did that. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold. It's not COVID, so I'm a bit bunged up. She uses a drawing that she says is of her daughter when she was younger. And it's a picture that is just a generic picture, cartoon of a little black girl playing with some yarn. Now, the thing is, it's not a caricature, because I'm a caricaturist, so I know the difference between a cartoon versus a caricature. So the picture itself cannot be described as being her daughter, because you wouldn't recognize that picture was her daughter unless you knew the backstory that they are saying as a company. So I knew that I had to do some drawings of Adela, and I knew that if I did a normal caricature that I would do, they would immediately accuse me of being racist. So I did the drawing of Supermarket Sisters, which there's another story to that, which I'll tell another day, but unless we've got time today. So I'd already done that. So I thought, right, well, I'm going to use their own drawing. So if I use their drawing, if they accuse me of racism, which they have now done, which is hilarious, it's their drawing that is racist. So what I did, I took the image, I flipped it the other way around. So instead of the little girl facing one way, she's now facing another. I cut and pasted the mouth and flipped it upside down. And then I changed the color of what she's wearing. I took out the yarn and I added the doll. Now, so basically nothing of the image that indicates what color the child is mine. That is all the original artists, and I did that deliberately. The doll was added because somebody gave me the idea that for a cartoon with Adela to have the doll and show me where Christy hurt you. So by putting the doll into the image, I also then changed the child from being the daughter to being Adela. So the child is Adela. You know, she's crying because, you know, Christy has hurt her, you know. And then I changed it to Lola Mean rather than Lola whatever, because that is the name that Adela herself has said in her videos. So everything about it was very carefully planned in advance. So now I've been accused, which made me laugh. He said that I've done a drawing of her daughter, a racist drawing of her daughter that is straight out of Jim Crow era. And it's like, so you're saying that the label that company is using for their yarn is racist and straight out of the Jim Crow era. You know, because what I've done, I just added a rag doll. You know, I didn't do anything else to that image, you know. So, and from a copyright point of view, which is something they probably don't know, which I know quite a bit about when it comes to art, is all you have to do is draw one line over a piece of artwork, and that artwork then becomes yours. So that drawing I've done that's in the magazine, I own the copyright to that drawing. And that will annoy them because they can't do anything with that image other than change it themselves if they wanted to. So their original image is still theirs, but because I've changed it, this new one is now mine. So yeah, they want to try and paint me as some kind of racist artist. And, you know, I was so careful not to do that. So I did find it quite funny when they accused me of that. And the other picture of Adela, I deliberately did that as a portrait. So I had her photograph in front of me. Oh God, that was a hard hour, I tell you. And I did a portrait. And so if anybody wants to see the original photograph, they're welcome to see it, to see that nothing about that image has been exaggerated or caricatured. It is actually a portrait, and it's just that is what she looked like in that image. So when they say that, you know, I'm being racist by depicting her with this or with that or whatever, I'm sorry, but that's her face. You know, that is what she looks like. You know, and it's just tough, really. But yeah, some people don't like the drawings, and I think it's there's a lot of people that don't like the idea of making fun of people's appearance, and I get that. But this issue, I think I was pretty careful to not actually make fun of anybody in terms of drawing, because even the Supermarket Sisters, there's nothing in the drawing of them that is offensive. You know, it's just a cartoon of them. I haven't given them huge noses or huge ears or whatever. So although some may find it offensive, I'm still going to carry on doing them, because as far as I'm concerned, I am actually deliberately being nice about the drawings, believe it or not.
Right.
And if they're offended, tough.
I think people are just offended because even though most of us try to not be overly, we live in a society where like words are violence and everything. And even though we try not to be like that, when you're in that environment all the time, you see a drawing of someone, it's natural that we're going to like be like, oh, is this nice? Should we be doing this? Because we live in the society where everything is so, we're all so worried about what we're doing and what we're saying and who thinks what. And I gotta say, you doing whatever you want is kind of refreshing, because other people are allowed to do whatever they want and say whatever they want, but we have to hold on to the standard, and it gets old.
Yeah.
So Sorry.
Yeah, well, I had a whole drama, well, a little mini drama about Nittler. So, I've used that name a few times, that I'm literally Nittler. And the thing is, it's a play on what they call me, because I've been told, you are literally Hitler, and I've combined the two things. And I have another account, you see, that I use. I think I mentioned that last time. And somebody contacted me to say, that I was being anti-Semitic. And the thing is, it's like, well, are you telling me that, the producers is anti-Semitic, with Springtime for Hitler? There's humor in everything to a certain level. And the thing is, Hitler in and of himself is there to be ridiculed by anybody. It's not that nobody's ridiculing, people that went through the Holocaust or died. Nobody's, the drawing or the name isn't related to them. It's to the person that did it. It's like, that's the villain of the piece, which is why, you make the joke about them, and people are so oversensitive, it's ridiculous. And it's like, well, my Jewish friends and family have no issue with, they call each other Nittler all the time, and where I live in Manchester, sorry, not Nittler all the time, but they call each other Hitler all the time. And where I live in Manchester, it's a huge Jewish area, it's after the war, loads of Jews came to this part of our country. So, everybody in Manchester knows Jewish people. And so they are the funniest people you'll meet, and they make fun of themselves. They make fun of the situation they're in, So I don't care what people accuse me of in terms of that. But I think it's anything. They will look for anything that you do and twist it to make it racist or anti-Semitic or homophobic. Oh, yeah, because I'm homophobic now as well, and I can't remember why. I forget why now, but I am, apparently.
Well, because this is what they do. They take these terms like a dart with a dartboard and they just throw them until stuff sticks. And so you're homophobic because they have decided you are. I'm racist because I used a hashtag that someone on their side started. This woman named Erin was calling your magazine the KKK Nitty Cult. And so I used that hashtag today, and people are telling me I'm racist because I used it. I'm like, but I got it from you, so I don't.
Yeah.
Exactly, Anne.
How dare you? But you're not allowed to.
No, but yeah, that's. I posted on Instagram today about how, words are just words, and we know that they can't hurt us. I don't care what people say about us. But so many people are scared, and so many people are worried about getting you're racist, or I know I'm not, so I don't have to worry about what they think of me.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I think is really interesting, and which we should all be pleased about, although it might sound horrible initially, is that that list is going round. There's another list now. Everybody that contributed to Blocked, anyone who's mentioned in there is in the list. And one person, I don't know whether it's Erin or one of the other people, has given all of her followers 7 days or 5 days, I forget which it is, to block us or unfollow us or whatever it is. What they're going to do after that, I don't know. I don't know what the threat is after the 5 or 7 days.
Well, how much time is going to be spent going through all of your followers? Like,
I know.
I don't have time for that.
But what I've been saying to people, if you're upset about it, don't be upset, because the thing is, it's saving us the time of blocking them or deleting them. And at the end of it, who's left but the nice people? So you might lose, if you've got a large following of 20,000 people and you suddenly lose 10,000 of them, you're losing 10,000 of the rubbish, of the horrible people, so be glad, because who's left? They're not going to be horrible to you. That's the thing. It's, so don't be sad if you've been targeted. Please don't be sad. Oh, and also, can I just say, I just want to thank everybody that has been involved in the magazine. So all the contributors, everybody who's read it, everybody who's sent me messages, whatever, because I understand how hard it's been for some people to put themselves in the firing line. And I know some people have taken a hit. I know some people have really, because they've gone for people perhaps that they think have been the nicest of us, the ones that they think might be hurt the most by it. So I know they've targeted certain people amongst us, but I don't think they realise how tough they are, and they might have a persona that's actually quite sweet and really nice, but they are quite tough. So I want to thank everybody that's been involved in it, because without those people, it wouldn't exist anyway. Sorry, I'm rambling. Go on.
No, but that's true. They're not really going after you or me or Anne. They're going after some of the contributors that they didn't realize were involved in it, because they think that they're worried about being canceled, or they're worried about what other people are going to think of them. And I worry about our friends too. I don't want anybody getting hate, but they're strong and they can deal with it. We have a community going on here. Our Unity KKKAL.
Yeah. You're gonna get a shot.
Hey, I'm just repeating what I've been told, okay? I didn't make it up.
Well, we're white supremacists, aren't we? That's the one that always makes me laugh. It doesn't matter what color we are. Oh, because this is the thing. I don't know whether you saw it on Instagram. I was thinking about something the other day, and I was wondering why in America the label is BIPOC, so Black, Indigenous, People of Color, whereas in the UK it's BAME, Black and Minority Ethnic. And it dawned on me it's because the indigenous people in this country are all white. So if you use BIPOC in Britain, you're talking about white people as well, and you can't have that. They've got to be excluded. And I just thought it was really interesting. And the other thing about that I thought was interesting is there's a new name now, isn't there? Is it? Everyone's calling it blimp at the moment because I can't remember what it is. Is it BBIMP or something?
Yeah, what is that?
Like, what?
Is it black, brown, indigenous, melanated people?
Is that what it is? Melanated? I'm melanated. I'm not as melanated as others, but I have melanin. Yeah, I am not an albino.
Yeah.
So what's going on with that?
And we're all people of color. We're all people of color.
This is really bigoted towards the albinos. They are a very small portion of the population. I think we should stand up for them. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was going to ask what that new thing is, because when they were saying, "Oh, don't tag the BPIMP," and I'm like, "What is that? We changed it now? Do they know what melanated is? Do they actually know?"
Well,
obviously not.
Someone in connection with Black Lives Matter who was basically like melanation is closer to holiness, and the darker your skin is, the more empathetic you are. And I'm like, you mean literal racism?
Yeah.
I mean, not like we're all humans, everyone, big hug.
Oh, I watched Disturbing the Fleece. Have you watched any of her videos?
No, I try not to.
Oh, every Wednesday morning, and I watch them. I watch them religiously because they are hilarious.
Oh man!
Yeah, I want to thank her for doing them.
Tell her about you, except you're not supposed to, and it's.
Well, in her last week, she was talking about white people, as she always does, and we apparently are brought up with no empathy. So we don't possess empathy, and especially when it comes to black people, and especially black women. So we don't recognize that black people have feelings, and it's something that we're brought up with. So, it's kind of not really our fault, but go on.
I have a black aunt. Does that mean I hate her? Just out of curiosity.
Well, you don't have any empathy for her.
Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if anything awful happens.
Towards her, so.
Man, I thought I loved
now,
her.
Though, you're going to have to pay her. No, I'm sorry. You don't love your aunt. I'm sorry. No. You're incapable of feeling love. No.
So because she has extra empathy and you have none, is the transaction for empathy? Is this like some form of low-level empathetic prostitution? Like, what's going on here?
I'm not sure, but it costs you $60 an hour. So whatever it is, it's costing you money. So.
Well, no wonder I have no empathy. I can't afford it.
Oh, speaking of money, please, one of the people that did the speech that I did earlier, I've forgotten his name. He was the one that had the mask on, to show us all that he was really, a good person and much nicer than anybody else.
I remember him. Yeah,
exactly. he told everybody that they should read the magazine Colourful and Candid, or Candid and Colourful. And yes, I think you should go and have a look at Colourful and Candid, and I'm sure the $45 will be well spent for that magazine.
$45? Books don't cost that much.
Yeah,
$45.
You know, when you see like a lovely, like the nice magazine stand and you're walking through the store and you're like, ooh, the paper is thicker. Like, I don't know, this one's a little spendy. $45.
I mean,
yeah,
I got
you'd want it on a stone tablet for that, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
If you want to spend money on a nice magazine, this one only costs $10, and it's put out by Galilee Life. It's nice thick pages.
Wow, I didn't know they did magazines as well.
I bought this one because they happen to have a thing about me in it. But it's a nice magazine.
In a month. You're rolling.
And it's only $10. So if you're going to buy a magazine, I suggest Galilee Life, just in case anybody wants to know.
However, I think you should do a disclaimer that there's no empathy in that magazine whatsoever. So you must, make sure people know that you're paying for the empathy with the coloured and what's it called, colourful and candid. I keep forgetting the name of it.
I had never heard of that one.
Well, maybe for that purely candid magazine, it also works in retrospect. Like, I could prop it up behind me, so I know I paid my empathy points.
Well, look out for it, because I bet a few of them have it in the background. Well, I would if I'd paid $45 for it. I'd have it on the wall.
Yeah, right.
Pictures aren't that expensive. Well, I was tempted to buy it. I thought I'd like to know what is actually in it that is worth $45, because there's is it The Principles of Knitting? I bought that book a while ago. I don't know whether either of you have got it. It's a really big, thick book, and it's really good, like a reference book. And I think that was £30, so that would have been about $40 perhaps. I can't remember. And I think that this pattern book is only a pattern book, and I think there's only 12 patterns in it. So what is so good about these 12 patterns? I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming it must be a hardback magazine. It must be for that price.
I'm gonna
it just seems to be out of most people's price.
I don't.
Maybe we should chip in $1 each and see if we can get enough money to get one, and then share it online so we can show.
Let's crowdsource the magazine.
It's that time.
We can all share it. We can all take turns.
Traveling pants. I'll send it to you, and I'll send it over.
Exactly.
We'll all write our
notes. Sign it as well, so we know.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it, because then we're not giving her a ton of business either. Principles of Knitting is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But somebody said that they'll Venmo us $1 so we can pitch in for it. So yeah, we'll crowdsource, see if we can get some. So
well, we could do it under the guise of raising money for somebody's teacher.
Oh yeah, that would work out.
Yeah. No.
If anybody's wondering what that's about, by the way, it's just about a missing teacher. The teacher, we can't find her. She doesn't exist, as far as we can tell. I'm sure there's an innocent explanation for it, but nobody's come forth yet. So if anybody wants to know what, I keep referring to, that's what it is. The money that was raised is gone where? That's the question. Sorry.
Interesting. Okay. So you said that, is there anything else about the magazine that we've missed? Because I kind of want to know the story about the Supermarket Sisters, but if there's more we need to address first, let's do
it. The only thing is just a call for stuff. So basically, if you're an artist or a writer or anything, if you can please send me stuff. Don't worry about whether you think it'll be good enough, because I've got now a team of 4 proofreaders, which has been quite funny, because each one I mean, I'm a bit of a proofreader myself. I can proofread somebody else's work, but when it comes to my own, I'm completely blind. You know, I just can't see any mistake at all. We've all found completely different errors. You know, we all miss the errors. So I think if we had a team of 1,000 proofreaders, there'd always be something that went through. So even if you don't feel that you're a good writer, still send it, because we can, you know, tweak it. And I do know there are some great writers out there. A couple have contacted me this weekend, actually. One I'm particularly excited about, that I'm hoping I can get to write an article for us. Also, artists, you know, don't feel like, you know, the Laziest Knitter, they have an artist, which is quite cool. Those, I don't know if you saw them, the little mice, I think they are. I thought they were really cool. So even if they're just little daft drawings, you know, quite happy to put them in, because it's something that we have done as a community. Because one thing I am really, really conscious of is that I don't really want it to be all me. You know what I mean? I don't want you to all be reading my opinions every month and seeing my drawings every month. Although I will always, you know, put something in there, you know, because otherwise it's not a community thing. It's more of just me, you know, my ego then, isn't it? But yeah, so if you can do anything, if you've got any skill, let me know. Patterns, I'm always going to be looking for patterns. I've got a few already for the, because the pattern issues are going to be every quarter. So although the magazine will be every month, the ones now, there's going to be 2 magazines now that won't have patterns in. So they're going to be much smaller. They'll just be articles and perhaps technique articles. I'm not quite sure exactly yet. I'm still working on February issue at the moment. Yeah, and that's about it, I think, with the magazine. But going back to the Supermarket Sisters, the reason why I used that image is that I drew that image a few years ago, and I sent it to them as a gift. And it was quite interesting. It was the day before the Ravelry announcement. So and back then I liked them back then. I used to watch them and thought they were great. So I sent them this picture because Tracy, the blonde one, had said she would quite like to have a caricature done of the pair of them. So I thought, oh, I'll do one, you know, because I'm quite fast as well when I do these drawings. Anyway, so I sent them through, and I got this lovely message back from Tracy saying how fantastic they were, blah, 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 how wonderful. And then the next day, the whole Ravelry thing happened, and I must have posted something on my Instagram at the time, whatever the name was back then. I think it was Neil Knits at the time was my Ravelry name, Instagram name then. So what did she do? She blocked me. So she blocked me immediately. But then I didn't know until this last month or so, that she did actually share that image on her Instagram with a couple of others. And what I did was I went in and I screenshot all of the people that were saying how fantastic the drawing was that I'd done. Because I thought, when I publish this in blocks and I'm using it against them in a way, people are going to be saying how awful that picture is and how evil that picture is. So I'll be able to say, well, just check against the database. Were you the person that said you liked it, 2 years ago? Interesting.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, somebody did think that the one person thought the Supermarket Sisters drawing was mean, and that was somebody on our side of the fence, if you like. So I take that on board. It might be, maybe, I don't know, but to me, if they're an influencer that has harmed other people or that has contributed in some way to that, then all the gloves are off. I will ridicule them, and I don't care if it's mean, if they've been mean. I will never do any of that to somebody that's innocent, in inverted commas.
Right. If they're a public figure and they're being rude to people, well, I drew a cartoon about you. It's all
right. And
that's as bad as the retaliation is, then.
Yeah. I think that people forget too, like, yeah, we're having you on our show. Yeah, we contributed to your magazine. I plan on writing an article I think I'm supposed to give it to you for the next one. I don't remember. But just because
time's running out. Come on,
I know, I got to do it. But just because we have you on the show, just because we're participating, doesn't mean that we necessarily love every single thing you've done either. And that's the part of our world that people forget about. We don't have to. We can support you. We can like most of what you do. We can be like, hey, Neil, that's a little, but
and then you can turn around and look at us and be like, Yeah, and you can turn around and look at us and be like, guys, that wasn't your best show. You had some things in there, and I was like, we can still be pals.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what people don't know is that the original draft that I sent to you all, there was quite a lot of it was taken out, and that was at the request of different collaborators. I'm not going to say who requested what, but there was some. I know, Anne, you said something about one thing I can't remember, and I took all that on board because I respect what other people are thinking, but two, we can disagree. And we're adult enough to say, well, I don't agree with that, but yeah, whatever. If you feel that way, we have religious differences. You're religious, I'm not, but we don't argue about it. We don't have a problem with that. Because why would we? We're adults. It's
right. Unless you're specifically saying that I need to die because I'm a Christian, I'm fine with you. I don't care what you think. But that's the part that nobody realizes anymore. Yeah. It doesn't matter what other people think of you.
Yeah.
Right. And also, if I had said, Neil, I don't like this article, and you had said, whatever, Anne, I'm putting it in anyways, and I would have just been like, oh, okay, well, it's his magazine.
Right.
It's your editorial choice.
I'm never speaking to you ever again.
Yeah. Well,
we're not friends anymore. I'm taking my pattern home. No.
That's it.
No. My ball, and I'm not playing anymore.
Taking all my patterns home. You can't have my article I didn't write.
Yeah, I think there were 8 people that I sent the original draft to, and I think seven people had a suggestion or a critique of it, which is why I sent it to those 8 people. I wanted that because the thing is, I know there's a quote that I like, and I can't Anne will know, I think, but it's the be careful when you're fighting monsters lest you become a monster yourself. And it's something like that. And I'm quite aware that by doing this magazine, I could cross into that territory of bullying people that don't deserve it. So that's why I need people to say, oh, whoa, just come back a little bit, because I'm only human, and we can all get kind of wrapped up in the sort of excitement of the drama, can't we? So I think it's good that people disagree, and I think we should encourage disagreement. There's no. Speaking of other contributions, did you see Nitty McPurley's video on Friday? If you've not had a chance to watch it, please watch it, because right at the very beginning, she does a really fair review of the magazine, and it's really good what she says. Not that it's good about me, just that it's fair what she says. And
is that she the cardigans and raglans and the other? Is that
sorry, say that again.
Sorry, the title of that one, is that the one with cardigans and raglans and balaclavas?
Oh, it might be the one after. It was only this Friday.
I don't believe I saw the one after, but yes, sorry.
Yeah, I think it's the one out. So it's just Friday, just gone. But definitely, yeah, because her, she's so eloquent the way she speaks. She says things like I can write, but I'm no good at talking. I talk rubbish and I ramble and whatever. Where she's.
Well, you always have the accent to work for you. So.
Sorry, say that again.
You always have the accent to work for you.
Yes, you sound quite
so
fancy.
What are you knitting at the moment?
I have a new design.
Oh, do I? Show us. Or can you?
I don't know
can
where
you show
it is. I couldn't even begin to show you because I don't know where I put it. Huh. Oh, well.
Oh, well. Well, it's the most amazing design that you've ever done, isn't it? It's the best one ever.
Well, I actually brought what I'm working on this morning because I'm trying to get a Canadian hat together. So this is just, this is draft number 1. The little maple leaf.
That's quite a tricky design, isn't it? The maple leaf.
It is. So yeah, like I said, that is draft 1. So hoping to get something out soonish, maybe.
With Anne, soon could be in 6 months. It's hard to say.
That is true, but I will try for it to be more soon than that.
Is it related to the truckers, or is it just? Yeah.
Well,
cool.
I've been thinking. I mean, like I do the nationalist knit things a lot, and I have been thinking of having a Canadian hat for a while. But like I have a whiteboard up in my room that has ideas that work on this, and I mostly ignore it. So Canada has been on the board for a while, but. Like right now, I'm like, no, wait, I needed to get this done yesterday. So working on that.
Yeah, the trucker thing has been interesting because there's been nothing about it in the UK news at all. It just doesn't exist. The only way I know about it is through Telegram, through a group that we're all in. That's the only thing I've heard about it. It's amazing that they just completely ignore these huge movements that are happening, And to be honest, I'm not even sure I know what the trucker thing is completely about, but I just know that, Trudeau doesn't like it, so that means it must be a good thing.
Yeah. It's about vaccine mandates. There was a vaccine mandate
right.
for truckers going across the border from the U.S. to Canada, and it had to do with that, and now they're all banding together. So, yeah.
Right. Oh,
and they try to show you awful things.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, it's all nuts here. Dude, everything here sucks.
Yeah, they have their own pages. I know on Instagram and on Getter, but I'm sure Facebook and the rest of them. I mean, they have Telegram groups. Rebel News has done good coverage. True North, Andrew Lawton's thing. I'm trying to think who else has quite a bit about it. And I'm surprised, Neil. I mean, here I am over in the Midwest, and I'm glued to GB News. They've talked about it. I think that you have been all over that.
Yeah. I have to hold my hands up. I haven't watched GB News for quite a while, so so mea culpa. Not for any reason. I do like GB News. It's just that I've not had a chance really, but I've just had other things on.
Right.
You've been kind of busy. I mean,
Yeah, just a little bit.
Not like you had other things happening.
I've hardly been able to knit anything. So I've had to resort. I'll show you what I've been knitting. I think I told you last time when if I'm busy or under a lot of pressure, I tend to resort to knitting that I don't have to think about. So it's usually things like mitered squares and things like that. So I'm just knitting, like it's going to be a jumper at some point, like a modular jumper. So this is the edging where the ribbon for the waistband will be underneath, and then I'm going to pick up to do the mitered squares from there. So I've just got a few of those done. And the only other thing I've sort of been doing is, I don't know whether you all did this when you were new knitters, but I bought loads of really cheap and nasty yarn that is not, not nice, but it's okay to crochet with. So I've just been, I don't like the colors, I don't like this, but I'm going to end up giving it away to somebody that I know will like it. But it's just a crocheted sort of blanket thing. I've got a while to go on it yet, but it's hideous yarn though. Oh, it's horrible. It's okay to crochet. I don't know if can you see how sort of acrylic it is and. but I haven't got it here to show you, but I've recently had some really nice yarn from Kia, from Cedar Tree Farm. I always get the name of a company wrong. Cedar Tree or Cedar Farm? Cedar Farm.
Cedar Hill.
And also from Cedar Hill, and also I've ordered some from Sweet Mountain Crafts as well, so I'm really looking forward to getting those. So I've got them, but I keep looking at them thinking, what can I make now? Because I've got this yarn that is just beautiful, and I think I've got to make something really good with that, but it'll probably stay in a cupboard for about 3 years just while I admire it, but that's what we do, isn't it? Yarn collectors.
Yeah. And all my nasty acrylic, this semester at Co-op, I'm teaching Knitting 101, and we're going to make squares. So like our first square is going to be garter stitch. And so I'm going to just get all of my random balls of yarn, let the kids pick what color they want to make their squares out of, and it'll be great for learning. So at least I have that happening. But
well, most of the acrylic that I have, the Red Heart Special, that I'll use for like the little squares for testing a pattern, because I can guarantee you by the end of these, I'll have like at least 5 minimum of these little maple leaves going. And then at the end, I bind them off and I keep them all. And whenever there's no inspiration, like none at all, that's when I finally get around to stitching this massive modular quilt together of all of my, so that's fun. And I have one mostly done already. I mean, I haven't woven in any ends. It's just like strings hanging, and the dogs love it. But besides that, I decided that I should do one in like nicer colors. So I have these Mandela things, and like, oh, so it'll be all one color together, so it won't be as weird, but it probably will be.
So have you started sewing it together already, or have you just got the squares and the pieces just in a box somewhere?
I have, of the one that is mostly red heart, I have most of it sewn together already, but I also have more like in a bag to be sewn on whenever.
You should bring it on Thursday.
Dedicated. Any little piece just ends up on the floor in a bin. Sorry, go on.
And I don't do swatches ever, so I never have any to do anything with. But
well, that's the thing though. If I do like a wool swatch for something, I'll normally pull it out. I'm like, I do not need a third blanket. A third blanket of swatches would be ridiculous. We're not going there. We're not doing that.
But you've talked about it more than once. You should bring it on our show. Try to remember for Thursday.
All right. Well, I'll have it washed first.
Yeah, so get on that. But
covered in dog hair.
Or if I need a heavy quilt for the bed, I'll just bring that out, and dogs are like, yes. So
yeah. So anything else, guys? Any other horrible? I mean, are we got any mean things to say about anyone else? Or are we pretty good?
We haven't even been that mean.
Oh, there's always something mean to say.
Well, you know what I mean.
So many things have happened. It's hard to pin them down, isn't it?
I thought the alternate blocked magazine account was really interesting.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I forgot about that.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, if this is what it looks like, someone was really clever about how they try to take you out. Like, that is, like, I would never have thought of that.
Well, I noticed it when, so it did exist before the magazine existed. However, I think it was created when I first launched the name. So, when I posted it's going to be called Blocked, I think somebody did it then. Because if you look, I don't think there's very many followers, and they've never posted anything. And because I couldn't use the name I wanted, so that's how I came across it. But what was interesting is that somebody has reported my logo on Instagram as being, I can't remember, have we talked about this already? I forgot already, as being nudity and sexual content. And they upheld it. So they and I can't appeal. So the logo, because I've just posted the logo, I think it was the one that just said, blocked is now live. So now that apparently is pornographic.
It just has the letters that are squares, right? Like the magazine clipping.
Just the actual logo. Yeah.
And so they upheld it as...
It seems to be the only one.
That's
as
just
sexual
bizarre.
Content.
How?
I know. I don't know. And there's no way to appeal that one, because what I've noticed is this today, loads of my posts that have been removed because they've complained are being put back on, one after the other, and they've said because I appealed them, and they come back and said we agree with you kind of thing. But that one I couldn't even appeal. So I wonder whether if you report someone for sexual contact, keep saying sexual contact, for sexual content, whether that is it. I don't know.
But that just seems ridiculous. That seems like you should be able to fix it. I don't know.
It's just bad, isn't it? But then there's the real blocked magazine porn site is fine.
Go figure.
So I don't know whether there's, well, as we know, everything, good's bad, bad's good, up is down, everything's insane at the moment, isn't it? So it makes sense, really, in our new normal, as they say.
Oh, well. All right, guys. I think that we're good for today, because when we got on, I told you guys an hour, and we're at just over an hour, so...
Oh, are we? Oh, right.
We're perfect. Perfect timing, everybody. So we had a ton of people join us live. Yes.
Sorry, there is. Oh, really?
Yeah. At one point,
Oh,
we had
there's one last thing I
75.
wanted to say. Wow, we're famous.
It's better than we usually do.
Really? Yeah, I'm going to start doing. I wasn't going to, but I am going to do a vlog for the magazine probably this week, because I have created the YouTube account, which is just Blocked Magazine, and I'll be talking about the contents of the magazine in that vlog. How it's going to look yet, I'm not sure. I don't know, because I know from my own experience I'm better when I'm talking to someone rather than talking on my own. So I don't quite know how it's going to work yet. So yeah, so you're going to have some competition, ladies.
I don't think you're competition. And as long as you don't mind coming back on for these once in a while, we're good to go. Because I know our followers like it when you join us.
Like in media world, it's not, there's only so many slices of the pie. There's more pie. There's pie for everybody. Everyone can be.
I'm sure I'll be inviting you onto my vlog soon. Say, please come on, please come on.
Sounds like a blast.
Yeah, no, but thanks for joining us, and thanks to everybody who tuned in today. We appreciate it. And Anna and I will see you Saturday for our regularly scheduled show. So thanks, guys. Thanks, Neil.
Thank you, Neil.
Yeah, thank you. See ya.